Something just happened at SpaceX, and it feels way bigger than people are acting like. They're trying to buy an AI coding tool for $60 billion. Not a rocket, not a spaceship, a tool that writes code. And yeah, at first that sounds boring, like okay, it's just coding, but if you really sit with it for a second, this might actually be one of the most important moves they've made in a long time. Because this isn't really about coding, it's about control and speed. The tool is called Cursor, made by Anisphere, and it doesn't just help you code, it builds things with you. You type what you want and it starts putting together real software, apps, systems, tools, things that actually work. There's this whole trend now called vibe coding, where you don't even need to know everything anymore. You just explain the idea and the AI handles most of the work. And that trend didn't just randomly appear. It really took off when models like Claude Sonnet got so good that people could build real projects in a weekend. Stuff that used to take weeks or even months. Entire systems, now done in days. That changes everything. So now ask yourself, why would SpaceX care this much? Because rockets aren't just big metal tubes with fire coming out the back. They're basically flying computers. Every single move is controlled by software. When engines fire, how much thrust is used, how the rocket stays balanced, how it lands perfectly back on Earth. It's all code. Thousands and thousands of lines of it. Right now, engineers write that code, test it, fix it, and repeat over and over. It's slow, careful, and takes a lot of time. And every improvement is a step-by-step process. But AI changes that completely. Instead of engineers going line by line, AI can scan huge amounts of code instantly. It can find bugs, suggest fixes, and even write better versions in seconds, not days. That alone speeds things up like crazy, but it doesn't stop there. When engineers design rockets, they run simulations. They test ideas, tweak things, and slowly improve. It's a step-by-step process. One change, test it. Another change, test it again, over and over. That's how it's always been. But AI doesn't think like that. AI can run thousands, sometimes millions of simulations at the same time. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't miss small details. It can test designs humans wouldn't even think of and quickly figure out what actually works best. Not what seems right, what is right based on pure results. And that changes everything. Because now you're not just improving rockets slowly, you're skipping steps. You're jumping ahead. Designs that might have taken years to figure out could show up in days. Shapes, engine setups, fuel use, all optimized way faster than any team could ever do alone. That means stronger rockets, more efficient designs, less waste, more power, and way faster progress. Now think about what happens during a launch. A rocket is constantly adjusting every second. Wind changes, pressure changes, tiny movements that need instant corrections. Even the smallest mistake can turn into a big problem if it's not handled fast enough. Right now, systems follow pre-written instructions. They react based on what engineers already planned for, but AI changes that. AI can react in real time. It can see what's happening, compare it to thousands of past situations, and adjust instantly. Not just react, predict. It can catch problems before they even happen and correct them before anyone notices. That makes launches safer, smoother, more reliable. But here's where it really starts to feel different. What happens after the rocket leaves Earth? Out in space, there's no backup team waiting, no quick fixes, no second chances. If something breaks, that's it. You're dealing with it alone. And this is where AI becomes something way more than just a tool. Instead of waiting for instructions from Earth, the system on board could actually figure things out on its own. It could detect what went wrong, understand why it happened, and come up with a solution right there. And not just small fixes. We're talking about rewriting parts of its own software mid-mission, adjusting how systems work, changing how it operates while it's still in space. Think about that for a second. A rocket updating itself while it's flying. That's not normal. That's a completely different level of capability. And it doesn't stop there. Every mission becomes data. Every second of flight, every adjustment, every small issue, it all gets recorded. And that data feeds back into the system. So the next rocket doesn't just start fresh, it starts smarter. It already knows what worked. It already knows what failed. It already knows what to avoid. Now connect this to everything else happening. Elon Musk has been building xAI and merging it with his platform X and tools like Grok. At the same time, Cursor is planning to use a massive AI supercomputer called Colossus built by xAI. That means more power, faster learning, smarter systems. So now step back and look at the full picture. SpaceX builds the rockets, xAI builds the intelligence, Cursor builds the code. That combination is not normal, because now you're not just talking about better rockets, you're talking about systems that can design themselves, test themselves, themselves, fix themselves, and improve themselves over time without slowing down. Every launch becomes a lesson, every mistake becomes progress, every success pushes things further, and it doesn't stop. It keeps learning, it keeps improving, it keeps getting better. That's the real shift, because once systems start improving themselves, progress doesn't move slowly anymore. It speeds up. A lot. What used to take years could start taking months. What used to take months could take weeks. And eventually, what used to take weeks might take days. And that kind of speed changes everything. Now imagine where that leads. Rockets that get smarter every time they fly. Systems that don't wait for humans to fix problems. Technology that evolves on its own in the background. Quietly, constantly, non-stop. That's not just an upgrade. That's a completely different way of building things. And that's why this isn't just another tech deal. It's a move toward a future where rockets aren't just built by humans. They're built, improved, and maybe even run by systems that can think on their own. And if that actually happens, this might be one of those moments people look back at and realize that's when everything started to change.